Hello and welcome to this video about finding the surface area of a triangular prism. So let's say we have the triangular prism that is 3 by 4 by 8, and we need to find its surface area. Now, when it comes to finding surface area, I often recommend making a net, which is a 2D version of this shape. Now, triangular prisms are extra tricky because depending on where the pieces are, you have different dimensions for your triangles, and it just makes it very, very complicated. So what I did to kind of help us with that is I tried to make a little 3D version of this using graph paper. Now, it's not together yet because I'm going to just open it up. Again, a net is where we're going to take this 3D shape, we're going to open it up to a 2D shape. So one thing I want to kind of highlight here is the fact that there are 3 parts of our triangular prism that are going to have an 8 to it. And that's because there's an 8 here and an 8 here. And what that ends up giving us is 3 rectangles with a side length of 8. And so what I'm going to do is I'm now going to copy that over here so we can see that. So I have 3 rectangles. I have this rectangle right here, which is my 4 by 8. So my height for all these is 8. This is 4. Then, when I've opened it up, next to it I have this piece, which is 5. It's also worth noting that 5 applies to this side and to that side right there. And finally, I have that last rectangle, which is 3, my bottom part. All right. After that, I need to include the triangles. Now, including the triangles can be very tricky for some students to kind of visualize where they are. So when we kind of draw it like this, or when you do it like this, it makes it a little more obvious kind of how it works. And you can see that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, there, 4, there. I also sometimes recommend it might be worth your while just to make the 3 rectangles you see and kind of make each shape separately, knowing that there's going to be 5 pieces here. All right. And so here again, I'll have 4, 5, and 3, and then 8, 8, and 8 for those rectangles. And if I wasn't sure how the triangles fit onto my net, what I could do is just have the triangles off to the side, look at it, and see that I have a 3 by 4 right triangle. So 3, 4, 3, 4. Now I can find all the areas of these things and I can add them up. So let's do that, and let's mark it on this guy right here. So I have an 8 by 4, which is 32. I have a 5 by 8, which is 40. I have 8 by 3, which is 24. Now, this triangle, 3 times 4 is 12. Divided by 2 is 6. This guy's its twin, so that's also 6. Now all I need to do is add them up. So let's go with 32 plus 40. That will give me 72. And then I'll take my 72 and I'm going to add 24 to that. Let's see here, that's going to be 96. My 2 triangles, 6 plus 6, that's 12. So now I got to go with 96 plus 12. That's 8, 108. So my final answer here is 108 units squared. And again, the way I did that is by taking my triangle and triangular prism, I should say, and breaking it down into its pieces here. And let's kind of fold it back up so we can kind of see how it comes together. The thing with the triangular prism is it has 3 rectangles. There's the bottom, the long side, and that medium side. All right. And when we open it up, it's going to give us 3 rectangles. So if nothing else, we should know that a triangular prism will have 3 rectangles to it, and then it'll have 2 triangles. Where the triangles belong, that is tricky. And so if you're really struggling to visualize that, just do this thing over here, where you kind of break it down each piece by piece by piece by piece by piece. Now there's going to be 5 pieces. Either way, you should be able to calculate the surface area of each, or calculate the area of each piece and add it up to find the surface area. So now I'd like to walk through an example of finding the surface area of a triangular prism. So I changed up the numbers just to make it a little bit cleaner for us, and you'll see why in a minute, hopefully. But anyways, previously what I showed you is that if we were to try to open this guy up, try to lay it out flat and make a net, at the very least, we're gonna have 3 rectangles. And I think breaking it down into 5 separate pieces sometimes is the way to go, because it just kind of makes it easier for you to account for everything, find every piece, and then take it from there. So now I'm going to have 3 rectangles and 2 triangles. Now it's about labeling those pieces. So I see we have a 5 here. This 5, it happens here, here, and then we can't see it, but also back there. So that's going to be the height, if you will, for my 3 rectangles. It's 5. Now I'm going to look for the other dimension, the width of those rectangles, and that's going to be this number right here, this number right here, and then we're not told it, but by process of elimination, it's also going to be this guy right here. So the thing is, this is an equilateral triangle. They're all 4. Because of that, all my rectangles' width are going to be 4. Kind of lame, kind of boring, but it is what it is. All right, well, anyways, I'll figure out those areas in a minute. Next, I want to address the triangle. So they gave me this number, 3.5. That represents my height. So I'm going to draw that into these 2 triangles, put a little right angle symbol, 3.5, 3.5, and again, since it's an equilateral triangle, the base is 4. Well, now I have the net, the deconstructed net of my triangular prism. And I can just find each area individually and then add it all up. So each rectangle, 4 times 5, will be 20. And then to do the triangles, I have to go with 3.5 times 4 divided by 2. What I like to do is simplify that a little bit. Go 3.5 times 2, which is 7. So each one of these triangles is 7. Now it's about adding it all up. So I have 20 plus 20 plus 20 plus 7 plus 7. These 3 20s, they're going to give me 60. The 2 7s are going to give me 14. Therefore, my surface area is 74 units squared. And so that's how we go about finding the surface area for these triangular prisms. Break them down into break it down to its net, and the easiest form of the net to break it down to would be a deconstructed, knowing that you're going to have 3 rectangles and 2 triangles. Label each piece, find the areas, add them up, you're done. Hopefully this has been helpful. Good luck with your homework or practice, and let me know if you have any questions.